Hey guys, so what diet is best for you? So in previous videos I've talked about how people may not necessarily be eating the wrong things, they may be eating the right things, but the problem is they're eating them in the wrong amounts. And the key to getting their getting their body transformation, getting the body that they want, going from where they are now to where they want to be in the future, is understanding their diet structure, getting their diet structure right, eating the right foods in the right amounts, and that is the key pivotal part of your body transformation. But that then brings us to the next question, which is, what is the best diet for you? What's the best structure for you? Which is the one that's going to benefit you the most? And to understand that, I think probably one of the most important things to understand is your body type, because your body type is going to play a key pivotal role in understanding which diet structure is best for you. Adopting a diet structure will have benefits regardless of what body type you are, but to get the laser focused results that you want, it's better to get the diet structure that was more suited to your particular body type. Now, I'm going to start off with male body types, simply because there's only 3 major types of male body type, and it's very quick and easy to go through that. And then I'm going to go into the female body type and explain what diet structure is best for women in general. Okay, so with blokes we have, as I've said before, we have our 3 major body types. We have the mesomorph, the ectomorph and the endomorph. Now these 3 types have very interesting characteristics associated with them, and how their body reacts to food also differs greatly because of their various body types. Now, the mesomorph is characterized here by the inverted triangle. Now, if you look at a mesomorph's body in general, usually they have wider shoulders than they do their hips, and this is because they stack muscle on much easier, much more effectively, and they burn through their carbohydrates much faster as a result. The ectomorph is a little rectangle here, and they tend to be quite slim individuals usually. Sometimes they can be quite tall and have long, slender limbs. They usually have a very, very high metabolism and have trouble building muscle and storing fat as well. And then we have the endomorphs. The endomorphs tend to be characterized by having quite a wide waist. They're the actual triangle here. They have a wide waist, and this is because their characteristics are designed more towards storing fat above the over these two, and that's usually because they have a slower metabolism based in their genetics. So, which diet structure is best for which body type? Well, depending on your goal, whether it be to increase size or decrease size, there are diet structures in place which would benefit each body type better than the others. So for the mesomorph and ectomorph, they actually benefit from the same diet structure, and that is the high carb, high protein, low fat. So this is for a number of reasons. Because the mesomorph and the ectomorph have a fairly high metabolism, this means their bodies are going to burn through the carbohydrates much faster. A mesomorph, due to having much higher muscle mass, the muscle mass requires fuel. Their bodies will burn through that carbohydrates in a much more effective manner, as well as the fact that they have more muscle mass in which to store that carbohydrates that they're going to be using as well. So for their goals, whether it be to increase size or decrease size, they tend to benefit from a higher carb diet. High protein as well is also necessary, because that will help with protein synthesis, stop your body actually losing muscle mass, maintaining a healthy body state. They don't necessarily need they don't necessarily need a high amount of fat, because they're going to get plenty of energy from the high carbs and the protein, and also because men tend to have a much more stable hormonal state. It doesn't fluctuate much. They don't need to have a huge amount of fat in their diet. This then brings us on to the endomorph. The endomorphs, they are almost, as the inverted triangle shows here, they're almost exactly the opposite to the mesomorph, which stands to reason their diet structure would be almost exactly the opposite. So the endomorph benefits more from a higher fat, low carb, and high to moderate protein. And this, again, is for a variety of reasons. Due to the endomorph usually having a slower metabolism, their body won't burn through the carbohydrates at the same rate as the ecto and mesomorph, meaning that they're going to have more excess carbohydrates in their body, which then leads to the body wanting to store that carbohydrates, and it'll store it in the body's fat. Now, if you restrict the carb intake, this means that because there's less carbohydrates in that body, the body still will need to burn something to get energy. It's more inclined to attack the fat stores in the body. So an endomorph will benefit from the lower carb, higher fat diet because you're encouraging the body to burn more fat. Again, having the high to moderate protein is for the exact same reasons as the ecto and mesomorph. Proteins, the ratio there doesn't really change between either of them. So when it comes to whether it be increasing size to build muscle mass or decreasing size to reduce fat, these diet structures actually tend to work best for these body types. Mesomorph and ectomorph, high carb, high protein, low fat. Endomorph, high fat, low carb, high to moderate protein. With the ectomorph though, the reason why I've lumped them in almost with the same diet structure as the mesomorph is because it will be very similar. The only difference is that because an ectomorph has such a high metabolism compared to the other two, they tend to need to eat far more to be able to put on any sustainable size. I know quite a few ectomorphs who eat absolute tons of food and still struggle to put any kind of real size on. So yeah, I'm hoping that this part here for the blokes out there is helping you identify which diet structure is more beneficial to you. The diet structures are fluid. You can adopt, each body type can adopt each diet structure because everybody is different. There is no one rule fits all for everybody. But these are the general rules of thumb, as it were. These are the general diet structures that will benefit these body types the most. Play around with them, see which one benefits you the most, but this will be a good place to start for you. So I'm just going to move on now, and we're going to go talk about the women's body types and which diet structure will benefit them most and why as well. So now we can see that the board is covered in what look like hieroglyphs, and these hieroglyphs represent the 7 different major body types for women, which are really subdivisions of the original 3 that we have with men. Now, as we can see, we've already got the original 3 body types here, the triangle, the rectangle and the inverted triangle, also known as the endomorph, ectomorph and mesomorph. But now we're accompanied by the pear shape, the hourglass shape, the diamond shape and the round shape. And all these body types tend to have characteristics of each other within them. So the pear shape has a slight mesomorphic aspect with a more accentuated endomorphic aspect. The hourglass seems to be almost a perfect balance between the triangle and the inverted triangle. So it's almost mesomorph and endomorph in a really good balance with each other. You have the diamond, which is the inverted hourglass, where weight tends to be stored around the midriff. And then you have the round, where weight seems to be stored equally around the whole body in general. Now, for women, they have these several different body types, but in general, there is only one type of diet structure that benefits women more than the rest. And that's for a number of reasons. Now, that diet structure, I'm going to go into that, is the high-fat, low-carb diet structure. And this is mainly because of the women's hormonal cycle, how women's hormones fluctuate throughout the month. Fat plays a very vital role in hormone stasis, in making sure your hormones are doing what they're meant to do, making sure that your hormones are in the right levels for where you need to be in your health. So this means that women will benefit from a higher fat content in their diet naturally. This is also supported by the fact that women also, on average, versus their male equivalent, will have 7% more body fat naturally. So it does stand to reason that women need fat. It's part of their diet, it should be part of their diet, and it will ensure good health. provided you're eating the good fats. Mind, this is an excuse to go down to KFC, so please bear that in mind. Focus on the good fats in your diet. That applies for you blokes as well. So, bearing in mind that women need to be having more fat in their diet, as I said before, the high fat, low carb is the best response to this. So, even though women have all these varying different types of, various different body types, this diet structure seems to be the overwhelmingly best structure that applies to you. This is also supported by other factors that women have compared to men. Women naturally, on average, have 40% less muscle mass than men do, which means that women can't store as much carbohydrates in their muscles as men do, which means that if you're eating a high amount of carbs, it's naturally going to be stored as fat, leading to excess weight gain. Women also don't have anywhere near the same testosterone levels that men do. It's usually, I think it's usually about a third of what men do, if not even less than that, which means that women have a much harder time building muscle mass compared to men, which means if you can't build the muscle mass, you don't have exactly the space to store the carbohydrates in. So, all these factors considered, the high fat, low carb diet would be the best one for women. Obviously, you want to have a significant amount of protein in your diet. That's the staple with all the diets. Protein is usually at a very high to moderate level for all the diets. And I'm hoping the information I've given you here has been enlightening at all. I mean, I made this video simply I made this video for your benefit. I want to help you guys. I want you to get your body transformations. I want you to feel your best. I want you to look your best. And I'm hoping that this will go some way to doing that. If you have any questions whatsoever, if any of this is a bit too complicated, feel free to leave a comment down below. Feel free to send me a message, and I will do my very best to get back to you and help you in any way that I can. So yeah, thanks for watching.